Good evening, and welcome to Thought Leaders, the lecture series hosted by Space Center Houston and sponsored by UTMB Health. I am Blair Brown, registered and licensed dietitian and director of the Master of Science in Dietetic Internship Program and the School of Health Professions at UTMB. Tonight's tasty topic is the NASA HUNCH Culinary Challenge that had students from around the country competing to create the best hearty soup and stew to feed astronauts aboard the International Space Station. Patients, students, physicians, astronauts. Everyone needs food for nourishment and energy. But food is more than just nutrients. Good food feeds the body and soul. It brings people together and allows us to be happy and perform at our best. At UTMB, we teach our students the art and science of good nutrition and put these lessons into practice every day as we serve thousands of wholesome, healthy meals to our patients, visitors, students, and staff. The HUNCH Challenge recognizes the important role of good food and empowers and inspires high school students by teaching 21st century skills and introducing them to new career opportunities. Last April, Space Center Houston hosted 10 student groups who competed to prepare meals for astronauts aboard the ISS. Tonight, we'll learn about the HUNCH program and this competition from a panel of distinguished chefs and foodies from Houston and beyond. William Harris, Space Center CEO, will be introducing us to this stellar panel in a moment. All of us at UTMB Health invite you to grab your favorite healthy snack and settle in for a delicious helping of thought leaders. Bon appetit!
Thank you all for joining us at Space Center Houston today for the 2023 HUNCH Culinary Challenge. I'm William Harris, President and CEO of Space Center Houston. We are a space exploration learning destination dedicated to bringing people and space closer together. As space enthusiasts, we are passionate about expanding knowledge and access to space exploration, learning, and training. We have the privilege of serving as the official visitor center for NASA Johnson Space Center. We share the story of human space exploration, past, present, and future. Today we're joined by student teams and judges for the finals of the HUNCH Culinary Challenge. We'll have the honor of watching as these students compete in real time to craft meals for astronauts who are living and working on the International Space Station. We're joined by an illustrious guest judges who will be on hand to select the winning dishes. They include Dr. Ann McBride, Vice President of Programs with the James Beard Foundation, Chef Joshua Weissman, YouTube chef sensation, Chef Evelyn Garcia, Top Chef finalist and Houston restaurateur, Chef Jason Avenat, Wolfgang Puck Executive Chef, and Chef Chris Williams, founder and owner of Lucille's Hospitality Group and James Beard Foundation finalist for Outstanding Restaurateur for the year 2022. The category for this year for the HUNCH Culinary Challenge is hearty or ethnic soups or stews. All the competitors' culinary creations comply with NASA's food processing procedures and nutritional requirements. We can't wait to experience the creations by these finalist teams. The winning entree will be processed by the NASA Johnson Space Center Food Lab and will become part of the menu on the International Space Station to fuel astronauts as they perform critical missions in space. The HUNCH Culinary Challenge provides another way for students to actively participate in making possible human space exploration and underscores that it takes a wide range of skills and professions to advance space research and exploration. Again, welcome to everyone to the 2023 HUNCH Culinary Challenge, and good luck to our student chefs.
We have students that are from homeschool, from public school, private school, all over. So even after school club type of thing. And so it's a really neat program. And this year's theme is the hearty ethnic super stews, which they have to create in a very strict manner with nutritional guidelines.
Anything I make, I love to eat. I just have a lot of passion for using a lot of spice, which is something we actually use in this competition a lot. And you can't use a lot of salt. The salt restrictions are very, very low for what we can use. So spices really compensate for what we can't use. Yeah, I mean, as you can see on the hat, it says needs salt.
I know, I love that.
Aside from having the food that they're creating, they have to turn in a technical paper to me and a 2-minute video. And that's all part of the process of figuring out who the winner will be to have their food processed for spaceflight.
I think often we still think of astronaut food as those freeze-dried packets that are in the gift shop, and to see that this is real food that starts in kitchens cooked by real people, and the importance given to flavor, to nutrition is really incredible.
So tell us a little bit about the process today. I see we've got a long table of judges here.
So we have a lot of different judges, and I'm so glad. We have 25 judges, and we have some guest chefs. Some of them are social media influencers, which will be wonderful to have them here.
I definitely follow some chefs on like Instagram, like Joshua Weissman. He's kind of one chef that I kind of follow.
Well, you know, he's going to be here today.
Really?
Joshua Weissman's going to be here.
Are you serious?
We have 60% is given for the meal that they'll be tasting today, and then the rest of it is based on the paper and the video separated equally.
Wow. Well, no surprise, it's a scientific process to determine the best meal to go up for astronauts into space. So excited about today's competition, and we really appreciate you being here.
Well, we appreciate you and all the support that Space Center Houston gives to us. Thank you so much.
Okay, welcome to the NASA HUNCH Culinary Challenge event that is taking place today. I appreciate our judges being here, and we are going to go around the table here in just a moment so that the judges can tell who they are and what their association is. And our students are super excited to be able to share their themed meal today. Well, it's a dish, and it is a hearty ethnic soup or stew that they have made. So it's a great time to be here. I appreciate your time with this. These students have come from all over the country, and they are very ready to share with you their food items. So if you don't mind starting over here.
Hey everybody, I'm Levi. I'm a systems engineer at Nanoracks, and I love home-cooked food.
Hi, I'm Roxanne Salas. I'm the HR director at Nanoracks, and I get to work with our HUNCH employees almost every day.
Hi, I'm Christina Cook, and I work in the Space Food Systems Lab, and I'm the food scientist, and I love eating.
Hi, I'm Suparna Paul, and I'm the Deputy Contractor Manager for Space Food System Lab.
Kurt Wees, food scientist, working in the Space Food Lab too.
Hi, I'm Lynette Calvert. I work in the Space Food Systems Laboratory. I'm a research and development specialist, and I also lead the health stabilization program.
Hi, I'm Crystal Wing, and I am the science coordinator / sensory scientist at the Space Food Lab.
Hi, I'm Kristen Reichert, retired chef, former culinary arts instructor, and I own Chef K Gear, a culinary apparel company.
Hi, I'm Vanessa Munoz. I am affiliated with Lucille's here in Houston, and I love to eat as well.
Hey, I'm Chris Williams, chef and owner of Lucille's, proud partner to Vanessa and father of Alessandra right here that's coming soon. And founder and director of, thank you all win. And founder and director of Lucille's 1913 Community Collective. Thanks.
My name is Jason Villanet. I'm the executive chef here at Space Center through Wolfgang Puck. And thank you and welcome everybody.
Hi, I'm Ann McBride. I'm the Vice President of Programs at the James Beard Foundation.
Hi, everyone. I'm William Harris, President and CEO here at Space Center Houston. We are so thrilled to have you all here.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jessica Watkins. I'm a NASA astronaut, just recently returned from 6 months in space, so really looking forward to what you all have for us today.
Man, y'all are really going to make me follow up on that. I'm Joshua Weissman, and I cook food for a bunch of people on the internet.
I'm Danielle Dubois. I run Hangry Houstonian, which is a food and lifestyle blog based out of Houston.
Hi, I am Evelyn Garcia, and I am the chef and co-owner of Kin and June here in Houston.
Hi, I'm Blake Ratcliffe, and I am the NASA HUNCH program manager.
Hi, I'm Stacy Hale. I'm the founder for HUNCH.
Hi, I'm George Kessler, Director of Projects for the HUNCH program.
Good morning. I'm Melody White, and I'm a research portfolio manager with the Research Integration Office, making sure our crew members are successful in their experiments, and I'm also a foodie.
Hello, my name is Maureen Dutton. I'm a pyrotechnic test director. I work at Propulsion and Power Division. I'm a friend of HUNCH, Dave Schlitting, so I love food too.
Good morning. My name is Chef Victoria Hooker. I am a certified culinary educator, and I teach high school in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and I am on the Secondary Accrediting Commission for the American Culinary Federation.
Thank you. And I am Michelle Whitfield, and I am the Director of Culinary Programs at the American Culinary Federation. So super excited to be here.
Thank y'all very much for introducing yourselves. So, the first school that we have comes from Arkansas. It's Northeast Career Tech in Jonesboro, and it's a hearty minestrone soup that you're going to get to try. Please make sure that you look at the judges' instructions so that you understand how we are going to be doing this sensory evaluation sheet, please.
Hello, my name is Yasmin Talib with the Northeast Arkansas Career Technical Center. Our dish presented to you today is a hearty minestrone soup. It is completely vegetarian and is an Italian dish. Due to the guidelines provided, we decided to use a homemade vegetable stock to control flavor and sodium. We also pressure cook the white beans to cook with them without salt. The potatoes, beans, zucchini, and spinach contain most of the nutrition in our soup. The beans and potatoes add viscosity, creating a thick consistency. We use thyme, crushed red pepper, and black pepper to create a balanced flavor between savory and spicy. In order to follow their nutritional guidelines, we use acidic ingredients such as vinegar and lemon to compensate the restrictions on sodium. Lastly, we garnish with Parmesan to heighten the flavor. My team is
Brianna Smallman, Layla Wright,
Juan Velasquez,
Dylan Adams,
So as the judges are partaking in trying this food out, if you can ask any questions that you might have of this team, they'd be happy to talk to you about it. They have very strict guidelines on how the food needs to be prepared because we want to make sure that the astronauts' health is not going to be degraded. So we want to make sure that we are providing them with very nutritious, lower sodium food, high fiber food, lower fat food. So they've really tried to go the extra mile to add flavor without adding more salt. So if you have questions about how they made their food, how they chose their food, please feel free to ask.
That's very good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anybody gonna ask a
So what made you bring an Italian dish to this particular table?
Well, we wanted to make a vegetarian options for astronauts, and we just chose the Italian route because we thought the spices would compensate with the restrictions.
So I really like the heat of this dish, and so, and the great thing is it's kind of like the middle of my tongue. So what chili did you use to create the heat?
We use crushed red pepper flakes.
The texture and the smell of it's great. What made you want to use apple cider vinegar? And when did you use apple cider vinegar? in the process?
Well, we needed to compensate for the lack of salt, so we thought of acidic ingredients. At first, it was just vinegar. At first, it was just vinegar with the red pepper flakes, and we had the idea to add lemon as well to give it a more citric taste.
Yeah, it came across nice. All done.
Thank you. Anybody else? Any questions for this team? Okay, well, thank you very much. Y'all did a good job. Take your food to that table, okay? Okay, the next school that we have coming up is from Pennsylvania, Milton Hershey School, and it's an Indian vegetable soup.
How does acidity play up in space?
I'm sorry?
How does acidity play off with your taste buds in space?
That is
Yeah.
Let's ask.
Why do you?
How does acidity play off with your taste buds in space?
So everything is a little bit muted on board. Thank you. For a variety of different reasons, I think. But so I think anything that adds a little bit of more spice or more flavor is really beneficial, because if it doesn't have that, it's harder to taste overall. So I'd say stronger acidity, stronger spices, those are always benefits, I think, on board.
Here you go.
Oh,
Do you want to have honey?
Here's
a spoon.
Okay, thank you.
So hi, my name is Lisa Jones. I am from the Milton Hershey School, located in Hershey, PA, and I am a senior in 12th grade.
Hi, my name is Dante Thomas. I'm also from the Milton Hershey School, of course, but I'm a junior. I'm 11th grade.
Hi, my name's Elizabeth. I'm a senior from Milton Hershey.
So we decided to do Indian vegetable stew because of all the spices that are in the stew, and also because of the vegetables that we chose to put in the stew. With the spices, they have a lot of medicinal purposes to them, so we wanted to give something that will help improve the astronauts' health, if not just aid in their health. So we use spices like cumin, coriander, garlic, cardamom, and black pepper. And a lot of these spices have anti-inflammatory properties and are also antibacterial. So we just wanted that to help with the astronauts. And we decided to use a lot of root vegetables like carrots and potatoes, and we also use kale because kale is high in fiber, and we know that some astronauts don't get enough fiber when they're out in space, so to help with that, we added kale. And also with the tomatoes, we decided to roast them to get a little bit of the Maillard reaction to help develop the flavor, since there is a lack of salt because of the tight restrictions. We kind of made up for that with our spices and just our cooking processes to get to this dish.
So let me know if you have any questions for this team.
So 2 questions. One, I'm getting a little bit of sweetness. Where is that coming from?
It's coming from the tomatoes.
So you just add ripe tomatoes, roast them up, and that's natural sweetness.
Yeah.
It's delicious. And then can you explain to everybody here Charlie Brown face?
So the Charlie Brown face is kind of when the astronauts' faces swell up a little bit, and it kind of inhibits their sense of smell. And smell is one of the #1 factors of tasting. So to just help with that, we kind of went with a bit heavier spices so that they can get this flavors.
Thank you.
Would you agree with this, Ms. Watkins?
Same thing. I was saying.
Yeah, absolutely. I can tell you that any spices like the ones that we're tasting in this dish, any kind of extra help that we can get with extra flavors is really appreciated on board, because everything does, over time especially, start to all kind of taste the same. So ways that we can add variety and interesting flavors is really super appreciated.
Nice job.
Can you talk a little bit more about the spices you chose for their specific properties and the research you did for that?
So We just chose these spices mostly because of the anti-inflammatory properties that they have, and also because they're spices that are found in India, so they're just like warmer spices that just help like kind of brighten it and are like, you can really taste them on the tongue. So those are some of the reasons why we just chose the spices that we did.
Yeah. Very nice dish.
The whole group does.
Any other questions for this team?
I do like the vegetable choices, but in a thought, was there any dry fruits or nuts that were thought about, maybe in the transition of it?
So we ran a lot of trials with this recipe, and this just so happens to be the final assortment just because of the nutritionals of the recipe and us trying to maximize the amount of fiber we can get in the dish. So some of the things that we had before, we just had to cut out just for this service.
Okay, any other questions?
I want to try all these dishes tomorrow.
I know. These are your take-homes. You get to take the recipe.
Yeah. It's even better when someone makes it for you, though.
I know, right? Exactly.
It's from Grand Rapids, Michigan. It's the Setia Institute of Culinary, and they have an Austrian style steak soup that they're going to be having you try.
Hi, my name is Katie Berg, and we're part of the GRCC Culinary HUNCH team. So what is being passed around is an Austrian steak stew. It is full of meat and potatoes, great northern beans, no pickle, tons of spices, lots of flavor. And to make our dish more accommodating for any type of astronaut, our dish is free from all 9 allergens.
So we had to do some interesting things to develop the flavor of our recipe because of the minimum amount of sodium and fats you can have in the recipe. So to get some of the acidity that you would associate with salt, we added in dill pickles and white distilled vinegar.
Another way that we really boosted that fiber balance, because that is very important for astronauts for their gut health and their gut microbiome, is originally the recipe is only just meat and potatoes. We took out half the meat and added in Great Northern beans to really boost that gut health and that fiber value. So that way they are healthy and their bodies remain how they left Earth with.
Have you tried different types of vinegars before settling on the distilled one?
No, we didn't really have to experiment with that. We went with white distilled because unlike other vinegars like apple cider or some of the other like red wine, it doesn't add any additional flavors that we didn't want there. A lot of the flavors in the dish come from the many spices and the long simmering times.
How did you guys end up choosing this like soup? I would have never thought of soup. How did you end up there?
Our program director is Austrian, so he gave
What inspired you?
There's a little influence.
He's the one that gave us this recipe, and then we had to modify it, of course, to fit into the HUNCH requirements.
Okay, thank you very much. Make sure you go take your picture over there.
I love the pickle in there. It definitely hits you when you smell it. Yeah. You don't taste it much, but the smell is like
Our next team, our team of one, who comes from Brazoswood High School in Texas with her roasted red pepper tomato soup. And she has lots of helpers, which is good.
Definitely a trooper.
Yes, seriously?
No pressure.
I don't know, she's the kind of person you want to have around. You should hire her. She must work for NASA.
I know. It's just amazing.
She's going to show up.
Everything that she's gone through today is
Right?
like all China, everything. It's like, wow.
Co-collaborators didn't come
Thank
through.
you. Oh, really? Thank you.
She said, I'm still doing this, and she came
Wow.
through alone.
That's
Very good.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Smell the fresh herbs.
That's a really
My
good
name
smell.
is Christina Contreras from Brazelwood High School, and today you have a roasted red pepper tomato soup.
So what made you choose this soup?
That's really good.
I really like to create and make new things in culinary, and so I really like tomato soup too, so I added red peppers to it, and it turned out really good, so I decided to go with it. And it's from southern Spain, but normally they serve it cold there, but I added a twist, and I decided to serve it warm.
This reminds me of a romesco, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
First of all, amazing. For it's single player, in front of everybody. Thank you. Never give up. Secondly, good flavor. And you mentioned, Spain, South Spain, and that's why we were just talking. It's like, it has a little like romesco style. You put any almonds or bread to it? It's really good.
Yeah, great job. It reminds me a lot of romesco. It's one of my favorite sauces. I think that if you wanted to force some protein in it, you could easily add the nuts, add the almonds, add hazelnuts to it, bulk it up, add a little bit more nutrition. Flavor-wise, like it's, as far as romesco is concerned, it's spot on.
There.
Yeah. Great job, chef.
A lot of wonderful warmth. How did you achieve that smokiness and the undertones of warmth?
So I used roasted red peppers to give it that kind of flavor. I also, we have to do low sodium and watch the sodium levels, I switched to herbs. So it's, the main thing that's giving it the flavor is oregano.
Well done.
Thank you.
You really taste the oregano.
Oh my God, this is delicious.
This is delicious. I wanted to ask about the texture. I wondered how you blended it, and it was tricky to stop at just the right moment so that you retain its texture.
I often blended
Like it hits you.
leeks,
feels
onion, and garlic.
Natural.
After I sauteed them, I blended them with the roasted red peppers, and then I added that to the pot, and then I blended up the tomatoes, then added it to the pot so it can still keep a balance of the texture and not be too soupy.
I was saying, I need a grilled cheese to go with this.
Yeah. I was just thinking that.
Any other questions?
Yeah, it's really well balanced for not having any salt. It's the acidity.
So much. It was really good of you to be here.
You also work in culinary innovation. You'll know a few things about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it just sort of falls like a soup, like a base for a fish or pasta. It just has multi-use.
Yeah.
Truly does.
Oh yeah, this would be good with pasta. Yeah.
That's a really good point.
Even a dipping bread. For dipping the bread, it's just
With just a little extra olive oil.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yes.
it could be its mill, it could be a perfect condiment up there.
Yeah.
That's a really good point.
A little bit of everything.
Excellent job. Absolutely delicious.
Okay.
So good.
Our next school that's going to be coming up
Thank you
is
so
from
much.
Virginia, Phoebus High School, and they're going to have a seafood
Great job.
lentil stew for you.
Thank you. Y'all have really great hats and chef's jackets.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I know, I love the patches. I know, right? Yes.
Thank you.
So we are the Astro Phantoms from Phoebus High School, Hampton, Virginia. I'm Brooklyn Willard.
My name is Tanaya Grisby.
My name is Ruby Saldivias.
My name is Jessica Smith.
My name is Tivion Waterford. My name is Tajir Davis.
And today we have a seafood lentil for you guys to enjoy. We decided to blend spices from India and Africa because we know astronauts' taste buds are depleted in space, and we know they're the two most flavorful countries. We also knew that sodium was a big issue, so we use anchovies as a salty flavor for low sodium. And the heat that you feel in the back of your throat is the red pepper flakes. We also decided to use tamarind juice, which is originated in India, to give you a nice sweet aftertaste for spicy and sweet
That
palate.
really works.
A combination of both.
So that fenugreek's, like, so I guess you hit that, you check that box of trying to deliver flavor without using salt because you have nothing but flavor in here. Yeah. I also like that you're using shrimp. And I don't know if you said this on the front end or not because I couldn't really hear you. But what made you choose the protein and also what made you choose these two powerful flavor components between the cardamom and the fenugreek?
For protein, we decided to use seafood instead of the traditional chicken, beef, pork, because we know that fiber and the fat had to be one in mind for the astronauts. And for cardamom and fenugreek, we knew that we had to have some type of aromatic and flavor because we know that the senses are kind of just out of touch when you guys are in space.
This is for our astronaut. I'd like to know, like, I mean, this is flavor. Like, how would you receive this up in wherever you're at?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say that in addition to comments I made previously about how important it is to have strong flavor profiles like you guys have here, it also is a very different flavor profile than we have on a lot of the other food that we have on board. And so that variety is really, really key when we're up there for 6 months and we only have a limited amount of food that we can have. It's really nice to be able to have something different that we can look forward to. So this is definitely something I would look forward to on board.
Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed.
Yeah, I also think this is like really well balanced. The spices in general, the sweetness, the heat that's in there. I think everything put together, really, really well balanced considering there's no salt. It's amazing.
Thank you.
Any other questions for this team?
I have 2 questions. Red lentils that you use, is it the whole red lentils or is it half broken red lentils?
The whole lentil.
Thank you. And ginger, what form you use? Is it ginger paste, ginger?
It was a minced ginger paste.
Minced ginger, fresh ginger you used?
Yes.
Any other questions? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Make sure to get your
I know. It's so risky to use cardamom and cumin.
All right, so our
because it
next
can be
one
overpowering,
is
but I
from
think they did
Florida.
enough to really elevate the
Kiva
flavors
High
and bring it
School.
together.
They have a
It's still
chicken and
mingling.
shrimp
Yeah, and you have the
jambalaya.
residual taste. Yeah.
What food did you most miss?
There were a lot of different foods. We talked a lot about pizza and burritos, chips for the salt, which is that's great. Yes, you definitely miss the sodium that they are having to work out of these recipes.
Do you find that your tolerance has lowered when you come back here?
I don't think so. No. Yeah, that's interesting. I haven't experienced that. Yeah.
You can eat a lot of chips.
Well, it's really funny because I went through a period with the diet where I was eating less sodium, less salt. Thank you. And then you quickly readapt.
Right, exactly, exactly. Your body's like, oh yeah, this is delicious.
Yeah. Great, thank you.
Do you talk about food all the time?
Yes. Yes.
I saw this. I flipped it over for you guys.
So they made their own andouille sausage.
That's what I have to find out. It definitely tastes like it.
Yeah.
You say it tastes like it or it doesn't? Like the andouille, yeah.
It tastes like homemade andouille. Oh yeah, it's definitely homemade. Look at that. Yep. They made little patties.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
So trying to figure out how they held it to bind. Oh, you got that gumbo fillet in there.
Testing. Hello, we are the Meteor Mustangs. We are from Orlando, Florida. We are competing for Wakapa High School, and my name is Travis Gray. I'm Nicholas Everly.
I'm Eric Hendrickson.
I'm Danny Ha.
And I'm Judah Myers. With stark similarities to paella from Spain and jollof rice from West Africa, jambalaya is the picture of multiculturality. Thought to have come from the confluence of Spanish and African people in Louisiana, and jambalaya since took on French influence with the addition of andouille sausage. Filling and flavorful, without any crumbs to get stuck in sensitive space equipment, we felt that jambalaya was the perfect choice for a competition dish.
In front of you is a jambalaya with andouille sausage. Typically, andouille sausage is made from pork, but we decided to make it with chicken because it's a healthy alternative to beef and pork. With less fat and fewer calories, these delicious, fully cooked sausages add a healthy flavor for protein to your dish.
So you may have noticed in your dish an increased level of spice, and this is on purpose, because when you're in space, the food actually gets dulled by the taste for the astronauts. We also decided to add things like red pepper, cayenne, and paprika to keep the traditional jambalaya flavors. The stock is the base for all flavors in our jambalaya. That's why we chose to make it ourselves. Not only does it reduce the sodium and our calorie count, but it also gives it that extra level of flavor.
Jambalaya is traditionally served with white rice. However, we are using wild rice, which actually isn't considered a rice, but is actually a collection of grass seeds, believe it or not. And the reason why we made this decision is because it reduced the overall calorie count of our dish, meeting the requirements of 150, 350 calories. For the exact number, it's 293 calories. And it also added more dietary fiber, pushing us over the 2-gram minimum. And if we were to use white rice, the packaging process for our dish, it would give our jambalaya a mushy texture. So we wanted to use wild rice to preserve as much texture as possible for our astronauts.
And lastly, in addition to all of those substitutions and changes we had to make to our dish, we had to sub out the vast majority of our salt for our no sodium salt substitute. And the science behind that substitute is that it's made of potassium. Potassium chemically is still a salt, it's just not table salt, sodium chloride. So potassium still is going to trigger and bind to those same flavor receptors on your tongue without actually having to contain any of the sodium of traditional table salt. We thank you for your time, and we thank you for judging our dish, and we hope you enjoy the jambalaya in front of you.
What kinds of questions do you have for this team?
Clearly, you guys have no chemistry, so I just want to say I really respect the effort. You guys powering through and getting this dish in front of us, because I don't know how you did it. But seriously, great dish. A lot of the vegetables they're very al dente. Like it seems like you barely put much heat to them. Was that deliberate, and why? Why did you want to do that with the okra, the celery, the green onions?
It helps preserve the texture, because it's when you package it in the space, it's going to get cooked down even more. It's going to lose that. It's going to lose that texture. So when you cook it less now, when it gets up into space, it's still going to have that crunch factor, like it would be cooked more.
Brilliant, brilliant.
I was going to ask something similar. Typically, okra is very slimy. Is there something besides not cooking it very long that you did to offset the sliminess? Something intentional?
So we knew that okra is like typically slimy, which is why a lot of people don't actually like okra. So when we incorporate it in our dish, putting it at the end not only like gives it that crunchiness still, but also with all the other soft flavors, and by reducing it, the sliminess kind of goes away. So it really worked out for us.
Any other questions?
What's the salt substitute you use in a sausage? Oh, sorry.
So the no salt substitute in the sausage is the same as it is for the rest of our dish. I think it's just called no salt. Yeah, it's just called no salt, and what it is potassium, which still does all the same chemical things as regular sodium, but without being sodium.
If you're wondering the sausage, we actually intentionally made it have like a really deep flavor. We add things like liquid smoke just to have that like extra like deep feeling in your stomach, so that astronauts can really get that jambalaya pasta flavor.
So 2 questions. How you guys kept that ground sausage actually together and bind?
We just put it in a bowl, mix it all together. I like squish it.
Old-fashioned way.
I let him form.
So we sear it off before it actually goes into the jambalaya, so it retains the shape. So it's not completely cooked all the way before it goes in, but by the time it comes out, it still has the shape and it's cooked all the way through.
Okay. Secondly, it's like I get the gumbo fillet taste, but I don't see it. So you guys just made your own, crushed into with the thyme, the herbs, and everything. You got that flavor of jambalaya with that fillet, but no fillet in the recipe. The gumbo fillet, it's it's an ingredient usually used in jambalaya that gives that perspective, taste, aromatic, and floral to it. That's what I'm saying. It's like
So when we were making jambalaya, there was a bunch of things that we kind of worked around based on like nutritional guidelines. So we actually had to replace that with a lot of things and make our own spice blend to actually try to achieve the flavor, which is why you taste it but you don't see it.
Well done. Good job.
Any other questions for this team? Okay. Thank y'all so much. Good job. Okay. Our next school comes from Virginia, Lansdowne High School, and it's called the Three Sisters Stew. So they'll have to give you more info on that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, that smells delicious. Good smell.
They have the choice between using
I think.
real dishes,
Thank you.
or how does that work?
I think what happened was we lent them some of our plates and things. And I don't.
But if they ask, they have to ask for real plates versus them.
They bring it themselves.
Oh, they did.
They bring
Okay.
it themselves. Okay.
Yeah. Whoa. That's good. The cilantro definitely did a good finish to it. Yeah, that's.
Hello guys, I'm Ava Ibanez.
I'm Ethan Hoffman.
I'm Serafina Arnold.
I'm Nathaniel Burson. And I'm Lancelot.
So, before we start the presentation, I would just like to ask you guys, what do you think about when you think about America's rich history? You may think about turmoil, you may think about strife, progress, change, but among those, you might not think about an important aspect, which is the Native Americans. And that is what us here from Lansdowne are here to bring to you.
All right, so our dish is called the Three Sisters Stew, like Lance had said, that it's a contribution to the Native Americans that were on our land beforehand, just because we feel like we could just pay a little bit of respect and knowledge to the Native Americans. So when they grew crops, the main ingredients is the squash, the corn, and the beans. So we use black beans and pinto beans, and that's just what they grew on our land before we came, and it's just what they introduced to our food world. And so we just thought it would be a good little contribution towards the Native Americans.
Astronauts are very healthy and
astronauts are very healthy and fit people, and so one way to stay fit is you have to eat right. And so we try to make it with each ingredient choice a deliberate way to try and incorporate as many nutrients and vitamins as we could. So each ingredient was deliberately chosen to try and have as much nutrient dense as it could be. And so the beans we included for the protein and fiber, and the squash and tomatoes both contain vitamins B and C and also are high in fiber. We included the corn because it has the sweetness and is high in fiber and other vitamins. And the all mushrooms are very dense in vitamins and nutrients, so they allowed us to include lots of other flavors and deep vitamins.
A cooking technique that we used was we roasted the poblanos to add a smoky flavor, and then we also used fresh corn, and using corn that's now in season really retains all of the nutrients that it has, in contrast to using like frozen corn. And also corn adds like a sweet note to the dish, so you have a smoky from the poblanos, you have sweet from the corn, and then you have a spice. You can kind of feel a kick from the cayenne that we use. We also use smoked paprika. We season the chicken also with cumin, black pepper, and salt.
So really, we all know the challenge here was the salt aspect, which is what my hat goes for, because we all know these dishes need a little bit of salt, right? But the problem with that is the nutritional value, and the salt adds acidity to the body, which increases the loss of bone while you're in space, especially when you're there for extended periods of time. So what we had to do is we had to compensate for the loss of salt. So many of the ways that we did that is with the spices, such as Ava said, the smoked poblano, which adds the roasted poblano, which adds a really smoky flavor to the dish. We actually deglazed the pan so that we could retain all of the flavor that we had from the chicken. That way we use every single part of what we use in our dish and add it to it to keep all that flavor and really make it stand out and pop. All these different elements that we use to combine, such as roasting the poblano, deglazing the pan, all these different elements of cooking really add to the flavor and really bring out the dish. Because just because we don't have a lot of salt doesn't mean the dish shouldn't taste good. And that's why what you're tasting here today has a really spicy and smoky flavor to it and tastes great.
So overall, we worked really hard on this dish. It went through a lot of trial and error, a lot of adding and subtracting, a lot of different components added and taken out. And we're just here today. We're thankful that we're even given the opportunity to even come here, to even compete, to even stand before you and bring you a wonderful dish. So overall, I just hope you all enjoy.
So what kinds of questions?
I wanted to make a comment that you really did an excellent job maintaining the flavors of the individual ingredients. So the base was delicious, but you also could taste the flavor of the corn and the summer squash. It all maintained this kind of distinct flavor, and I think that really added to the quality of the dish, that there was a mixed flavor profile that I really appreciated.
Yes, sir.
So we used a form of dry chipotle as a form of seasoning on the chicken. Oh, I'm sorry, it's also on the tomatoes as well.
It's also what?
Hi, this was absolutely delicious. Thank you guys so much. So you mentioned a little bit of kind of trial and error where you were trying things out and they didn't work. Can you give me an example of something that you tried that didn't work and how you kind of overcame that and found a new solution?
So originally when we were creating the recipe, we actually wanted to add in like something like carrots. And like trial and error, we really had to look at it, try it, and it was delicious, but it exceeded the nutritional requirements, like especially sugar. So to substitute that, we actually decided to use a little bit more onion, as well as the way we would cook it and incorporate it into the dish.
So another thing we had about the trial and error is obviously the salt issue. So when you look at stuff such as canned beans, they have a very high level of sodium. So obviously we couldn't use that, so we used dried beans, right? That was the first level of trial and error. We really obviously we had to make it work around. We made it work, right? That's why we got the black and the pinto beans. And really, the main issue is just the salt. You know, like it's really easy to make a dish really nutritional and have high nutritional value, especially when you're using as many vegetables as we are using in our dish. It's really just the salt issue that it comes down to, and bringing all those flavors together. And like you pointed out, we still retain all of the flavor that each individual brings to the dish, but it all blends really well together.
I'm not sure how well the texture is retained when it's packaged and sent up to space, but texturally I really like this. I thought there was a lot of layering, right? Because you have the beans, there's a little bit of a chew, there's some fresh crunch. The squash was really well maintained, where I think squash oftentimes is overcooked. It says that you guys sauteed it, but obviously fat kind of being a problem. So was there a saute, or was it more of like a blanch? How did that?
On the squash and tomatoes.
What was garnishing the dish essentially?
So we have the squash tomatoes and cilantro on top. For the squash and tomatoes, we try to keep them in the pan for as little as we could while still shredding to get some browning, because we wanted to maintain that crunch. So by cooking them for a very short amount of time, we were able to have that textural contrast. And keep the nice flavors. And by cooking them less, we were able to maintain more nutrients.
Yeah, I like that. That was great. Really, really nice.
Just more of a comment. This dish really tastes like home. I think that's something you guys will be looking for out there, but this tastes like home. It's not overpowering in any way. It's balanced. It's right. Good job.
One of the parts we did is the mushrooms in there. We're trying to give that like earthy flavor and texture, meaty flavor and texture. So that was also one of our goals that we had.
Good job.
Any other questions? All right, thank you very much. Make sure to take your dish over here for pictures. All right, our next team. We do not have Dakota High School, unfortunately. They contacted me on Monday and said that they were not going to be able to make it this week, so we are not having them, so you can skip them on the sheet. Next, we have Milby High School here in Texas, in Houston, and they have a Chupe de quinoa. I might have said it wrong, but they're going to come in and tell you all about it.
Turning was the lights. They had a spotlight on it.
Yes, please, thank you.
They start breaking everything down by itself.
Yeah, but something tastes like it's a little bit heated. So peas.
You know what would help me? I can find out.
Hi, my name is Andrea.
I might have some in my kitchen. Yes.
Hi, my name is Miranda Moniz from Milby High School.
Alright, we are the Space City Buffs. We are an elite team from Houston, Texas. We're here to represent our favorite teacher in the world. And we want to tell you a little bit about our Chupe de quinoa. It's originated from Peru, and it gets And we substituted the low sodium, we substituted the salt for low sodium ingredients like panca peppers, Peruvian mint, oregano, and we also have some pastes in there. Yeah.
The main ingredients of the dish are the Peruvian panca pepper paste and the quinoa, because it's a super grain. Should I include anything? No, just what else?
Describe what it has, amino acids.
Oh, the main part that we really want you to focus on for the dish is the quinoa, since it's a superfood, and it contains all the amino acids that an astronaut would need in space. Along with minerals and vitamins.
One of the most challenging parts of this dish was to find something that was so low in sodium but was full of flavor. But even though the quinoa itself doesn't have that much, the consistency is still great, and it is really boosted by all of the peppers that we put into this dish, along with the spices. As long as with the garlic too, the garlic really helped. And sautéing the onions and what else did we put? Yeah, just sautéing the onions and letting the quinoa sit with it really boosted the flavor.
Where did the Peruvian inspiration come from?
Is this one? Okay. So we decided the inspiration was quinoa because quinoa is originated from Peru, and we also wanted an ethnic soup that our teacher can relate to. Is also from Peru. And yeah, we just did a lot of studying on quinoa, where it was from, and another inspiration was for the potatoes. Potatoes also come from Peru. There's actually thousands that come from Peru. Thousands of potatoes that come from Peru. And that was my inspiration.
Any other questions?
How did you decide to use panca as your chili of choice?
One of the reasons why we decided to use the panca pepper paste is because of how flavorful it is, and then it's also, since it was low in sodium, it also helped to incorporate it into our recipe since it wouldn't make us go over the limits that we had.
Did you try others?
Other
peppers?
No, we wanted to try to make our own panca pepper paste, but I think we ended up not doing it because it was time consuming to the challenge.
Any other questions? Okay.
Well, I have one.
Oh, okay, hold on.
What made you want to use the evaporated milk? And I didn't really pick up on the milk, but where did that come from? Why? And
I'm not
you guys are adorable.
I feel like we used it because it evens out the flavors. Yeah, it evens out the flavors, and it brings everything together.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
I was curious how difficult it is to source Peruvian panca pepper paste and Peruvian mint. Where did you guys source it from? Buy it from?
We found it at a few markets. It's kind of expensive, I think, right?
Yeah, it's
It was a little bit expensive from the places that we found it from, but it's not that difficult. It wasn't that difficult to find it.
Actually, like the minute, wish there was a little bit more minute there.
Anything else?
It's a little too.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Make sure you get your food dish taken a picture over here.
Mushy, but
All right, we have our last competitors from Tri-County Career Center in Ohio, and they have a chicken tinga stew.
Midwest, bringing in the Mexican flavors.
The good old tinga.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, here's the astronaut bread.
Oh, it is.
Tortillas.
That's
Oh yeah, no crumbs.
Yep.
Hello,
But
my
this
name is Jane
this is
Conaway.
something you eat in a taco?
Hi, my name is Brianna. Hi.
Hi, I'm Curtis Hunter.
We are students from Nelsonville, Ohio, Tri-County, and our soup today is a chicken tinga soup. It's Hispanic origins, rich flavor and spicy seasoning. Makes a great combo for astronauts because in space their taste buds go bland. So we're hoping that they can taste this in space. Also, feel free to dip your tortillas into the soup to get an out of this world experience.
Although we had a lot of fun doing this, it was a lot of hard work. So we originally started doing our finals for our lab, which is Culinary Arts. So we were doing internationals. So her group did Mexico. So her group came up with all of this amazing soup that you guys get to taste today. And then we helped her figure out the rest to make it safe for people that go to space.
Definitely need the heat.
Yeah.
I'm missing it.
Yeah, do it. If it's actually warm, you can probably taste a little bit more.
Yep.
That being said, when I put the tortilla in there, it kind of came alive. The tortilla really helped.
Rights it up.
Yeah.
I think there's a little salt in the tortilla.
Here we go.
I think.
Anybody have any questions for this team?
But yeah, they played it a little too early. It's too hard.
But definitely a little bit more heat, and then just a spice of cilantro. That would have just balanced it.
Maybe a little bit of citrus on there.
That will impact your decisions as a future culinarian and maybe chef. Will you use less sodium moving forward because you know of all the options to use otherwise?
Yes, I want to make sure everybody has a great experience with what they're eating.
Any other questions?
Hey, I see we've got a Bailey in here. Would you like to tell us about that?
So when we were rearranging or adding and subtracting protein, sodium, we had to add a bay leaf to balance out everything because we don't want to accidentally add too much protein, too little sodium, because astronauts have to have a specific diet.
Any other questions?
This one's not a question, but just a comment that we would have tortillas on board with almost every meal, and every time we were able to use tortillas, it was always a treat. And so that's a really great idea to be able to add the tortilla as an option with your stew. It's great.
Is the tortilla a big source of the sodium in the overall dish?
Yes and no.
When we were making it, we originally did not have the tortilla, but we realized it would have been a great add-on.
Yeah, definitely.
The tortilla also gives it a little more flavor as we were going through all of our options of what we can and cannot do.
Any other questions? Okay, well, thank you very much. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to judge today. This is just really nice that you're here. I love the fact that we have so many different people from all over that are doing different things that relate to culinary. And so it's exciting that you're here. I do want to let all of the judges know that you are invited to go sign a space station locker. And that space station locker is built by HUNCH. We have a manufacturing area of HUNCH, and so it is built by students. And then you are allowed to sign that, and that goes up onto space station. I hope you enjoy all your goodies that we left for you, and I just hope that you'll be able to volunteer in the future for this. Thank you very much.
The moment we've all eagerly awaited has arrived. Each team that participated in this remarkable competition demonstrated skill and ingenuity and created innovative dishes tailored to the nutritional needs of astronauts and the unique demands of dining on the International Space Station. The level of competition this year has been nothing short of extraordinary. With great pleasure, I announce that the distinguished panel of judges has reached a decision after nutritional analysis by the NASA Food Lab. The first place honor goes to the exceptional team from Lansdowne High School in Virginia Beach, Virginia. Their creation, the Three Sisters Stew, left our judges astounded. The recipe will be shared with experts at NASA's Space Food Systems Laboratory to ensure its perfection as a rehydrated meal and make it ready to nourish astronauts on missions aboard the International Space Station. Once again, congratulations to this incredible team. The second place winners of the HUNCH Culinary Challenge hail from Wakiva High School in Upapka, Florida. Their chicken and shrimp jambalaya demonstrated their focus on both flavor and nutrition. Awesome work. I'm also pleased to recognize the outstanding achievement of the third place winner from Brazoswood High School in nearby Lake Jackson, Texas. This talented individual competed alone and prepared a delicious roasted red pepper tomato soup. Our heartfelt congratulations go out to this amazing participant. We are deeply honored to have hosted the 2023 HUNCH Culinary Challenge at Space Center Houston, where our shared purpose is bringing people and space closer together. Above all, I want to express my immense pride in each and every student who participated. Your incredible efforts and contributions will play an integral role in shaping the future of NASA's culinary program. Your creativity and dedication serve as an inspiration to us all. A special word of gratitude goes to our esteemed panel of judges: Dr. Ann McBride, Chef Chris Williams, Chef Evelyn Garcia, Chef Jason Avellanat, and Chef Joshua Weissman. Your talent and leadership have provided invaluable motivation to our future space chefs. We are truly honored to have had you join us for this event. Last but not least, I want to extend our deepest thanks to Allison Westover, who skillfully coordinated this event as part of the NASA HUNCH program. On behalf of everyone at Space Center Houston, I can confidently say that hosting the 2023 HUNCH Culinary Challenge has been an absolute privilege. We eagerly anticipate the excitement and competition to come in 2024. Space Center Houston is deeply thankful to the presenting sponsorship support of University of Texas Medical Branch. Their generosity helps us make possible our Thought Leader series.